What's up, you guys? It's InGames here again for another fucking video. And today we are talking about something again that's about what I'm currently going through and all that. So um I was realizing like 3 days ago that I was going through like this brain rotting um hitting a wall of like not being able to create content, not being able to, like do anything right. And so I was like, I'm gonna fucking quit. I'm gonna give up and not do it. But I ended up just realizing, hey, if I freestyle, it'll work too, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And that's what I was learning, was that not everything has to be perfect, but to the best of my ability. And as I'm learning and growing, I can perfect it the way that I want to, not just perfection out of where it spawns from, or the idea of it. But I think I was um dealing with, being unhappy about it and stressing. It was more of a stress than being unhappy, to me being sad about it. Like, this always happens. It's always me. I'm the one that, attracts that energy, that vibration, and I just couldn't figure out why me. So, um, today's episode is called. It's called. Today's episode is about, I'm not just sad, I'm lonely, because I'm realizing that out of all my eternal struggles, no matter how bad they get, I still choose to deal with it alone, like a dumbass. And I never really take advice from anybody, um, which is a whole fucking episode in itself. But I just, cry about it. And I pray to my angels, and I don't know, do the best that I can from that point on. But I'm realizing that, hey, my sadness is like, hey, you're not alone. You're not just sad, you're alone too. And I'm like, wow, that's profound. And I've been struggling with that a lot recently, because I'm dealing with the loneliness in like different ways. Like, I still think ways that, you know, people could relate to or people could understand, but also in ways that are like really trying to kill my humbleness, or like really trying to manifest like bad energy within me. And that loneliness is very toxic and is just ugly. It's just really ugly. And I was like, I don't know, I need to like read a book, or like go outside and touch grass or some shit. Like, maybe what I'm doing is not the routine that I need to be doing to like fix my life up. And that only made me realize, that I don't have my shit together, which is very depressing for me. That's something I've always struggled with, because I just don't have my shit together. I never have my shit together, and I'm known to hide from responsibility and not do what I'm supposed to. Um, I'm always lacking, and that's very depressing that I don't try to fix that. But that's not what it's about. It's about the fact that, okay, For example, this is one example which is real sad because I think I have like five. Um, for an example, I was telling someone that I worked with. I don't want to call her my friend, but that I worked with, about how I was sad because I was like emotionally ready to be in a relationship, and I was emotionally ready to have friends, but it seemed like the opposite of that, whatever that is happening to me. And it didn't happen until I was emotionally investing in friendships and relationships with other people. And then at the end of the day, it kind of gave me like this nasty taste in my mouth that, um, I was the problem, or I was, like, I was starting to think the reason I was alone was because I was alone. I was starting to think the reason that I was alone was because of me. And I was starting to think that I was alone because I was projecting my problems onto other people or something like that, without noticing it or realizing it. Because we all know a lot happens around you, and you can't control everything, and you can't be aware of everything that happens, and all that. But that doesn't mean give up on being aware, because being aware is great, it's healthy. Um, but I was starting to think that like the problem would revolve around me, or I was the problem, and it was just really chaotic in my head, and I was sad, right? Another example is I was um, telling someone about this weird dream that I had. It was so weird. Like, I was at work and they told me to close the restaurant and like lock the doors, like physically lock the doors. And I was like, why? Like, in the back of my head. But you know how that happens in dreams, like in the back of your head, you're like, why is this happening? Like, it doesn't normally happen like that. I know it doesn't. But it's a dream, so it's gonna be off-putting and weird. But they told me to close the restaurant, and I remember being so tired, but I couldn't tell them no. And I was like, sure, I'll do it. And I cleaned the restaurant like by myself, the whole restaurant, and then I like was locking the doors. And I was like, remember thinking, I was still inside locking the doors, which was really weird. And I remember thinking like, damn, like if I do a bad job, they're gonna fire me. And that was all I could like come up with. And I was like, damn, bro, like that dream was so weird that I don't know. And it just made me depressed that that was like an actual depiction of my life, because you know I do work hard and I do bust my ass, and they do underappreciate us, and they do treat us like shit, and they do let the customers shit all over us, and let alone walk all over us. And that is a very accurate depiction of my life, and I never wanted that. But um it just made me sad. So another one was well, to the point. So um yeah, I was just really, really depressed at that point. And like, it's the upsetting part about it was like there was like a little truth in it, or something like that. But I don't know, I was just really, really not feeling good about myself or my life at that point. And I was like, wow, like, like I said before, like it seemed like I was attracting this bad energy, of like everything happening to me, the opposite of what I was desiring or what I was asking for from the universe. And in some really weird way, you know, it taught me a lesson that I should just move on from that. Like that's just probably not my answer of method. But at the same time, it made me sad and then it made me lonely and I was like, wow, now I'm both and that's fucking great. Like that's just typical, right? Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Make sure that you go back and check out the previous episodes if you haven't seen them. And stay tuned for next week's episode. I'm In Games and I'll be back. Subscribe, bitch.